Hello, everyone. It took me a long time because my stuff was freezing. Okay, it's not my fault. So, by the way, we weren't muted. We'd all just decided not to talk. It's our new intro, you know. Um, Welcome to InkRadio. You all know what it is.
Yeah, he's trying something new here, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going for that experimental podcasting. It's called No Talking. Anyways, today we're joined by Dr. Prodigy from Deep Blues. Again, he's been on the show a couple of times. I got him in as a last-minute substitute as Nine unfortunately couldn't make it at the very last minute. He'll probably be on next week, and he does say sorry on behalf of it. So welcome, Prodigy. How's it going?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for having me yet again. Glad to be the rebound. Hope everything's going okay otherwise. But yeah, I'm glad to be here.
And how's it going, Kendall?
Everything's going all right, man. Raining here.
Kendall, I see you have a new tag.
Tag?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean...
Oh, I'm Walkman.
Yeah, you're Walkman now.
Oh, I'm Walkman.
No.
All right, everybody, I want you to know that your all the weapons they use are absolutely trash. I'm still a god at this game. And
Okay, so I just want to point out you're saying it wrong. Walk would be like, it's crash, not trash.
All right, well,
stream's done.
Negus here. Guys, shout out to GSM Splat LISS. Make sure you guys go to that.
Man, you guys suck at doing
go to
impersonations
LISS.
of other people, okay? I do this way better. I do so much better shilling than you guys do about yourselves.
No,
I haven't even shilled yet. Excuse you. I have not even shilled
Kendall
yet.
would be like, yo, GSM Elite guys, you know what it's at. Once every 2
No,
weeks.
he wouldn't. He's not that
Pumped
hyped,
in
bro.
prize
No, he isn't.
Not that hyped. That was way
No.
more accurate.
I'm
than
the
you.
Kendall he wishes he was.
There's a reason why I do all the
Someone
social
say
media.
something like that.
There's a reason why I do all the social media for us.
That is why. All those brilliant tweets are literally Prodigy.
All of them but the trailer. The trailer tweet was not my tweet.
Okay.
Okay,
That was
anyways.
terrible.
We're gonna go right into it, guys. Inkstorm Cup happened, arguably probably the biggest online tournament we've ever had, just based on prize pool alone. I don't think is the largest amount of entrants we've ever had. Like it was like 64 or something. It's still pretty big, but
The E3 open qualifier things have always had much larger. If you include those.
And if it's a community managed event, it'd be Squidboard still.
yeah. So overall, not entirely the biggest in terms of numbers, but it was definitely the biggest in terms of, I would say, like the prize pool. There was so much on the line for this. 2 teams get a trip to Japan. So for those who didn't watch, you can watch it. Just go to Endgame TV on their Twitch channel. Look at the recent VODs. Unfortunately, some of it's muted due to some copyright music, but
You noticed that too.
I can't help you with that. Just watch it muted then. So that's what it is. So we had that event. I know that Prodigy played in it with Deep Blues, and I think all 3 of us watched it.
Yeah.
As much as I could, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I had some work, but yeah.
Let's talk about the matches in particular. So first thing I want to bring up before we get into the finals, because everyone thought Ghost Gaming and STX were going to get right into Japan. That didn't happen. We'll get into that. But first I want to talk about Deep Blues. We have Prodigy on the show, and it seemed to be a big story during the tournament that Deep Blues got eliminated by BB Last Station. And I kind of want to get your thoughts, Prodigy, on why you failed so hard.
Why am I feeling like attacked all of a sudden? Last minute replacement. You know what?
You wrecked me,
Anyway.
I'm not gonna lie.
Putting me on the spot all of a sudden. I wasn't warned about this or anything.
No, but for real, like, what went into those matches? Because everyone really thought that you were going to be. You did end up getting into top 7. So to be fair, it was a double elimination, top 32 on the second day. First day was a group stage. Ghost Gaming and STDX were automatically qualified into the top 32. And Deep Blues was one of the people who was considered to be one of the top teams that could potentially rival STDX, Ghost Gaming, and all the other teams. You guys finished in top 7, so it's definitely. It's still good. But your initial top 32 bout was against Last Station, and you lost 3-0. So kind of talk us through that. What went
3-2.
on?
3-2.
Oh, 3-2. Sorry.
He's really trying to bury you.
I know, man.
It's not
He's really trying to bury you.
Jeez. Okay, so basically, leading up to Inkstorm Cup, we, as a lot of people probably know about by now, we specifically try to make our roster smaller. We, for the longest time, had like a roster of like 8 people or something like that. And Mystic, we eventually asked Mystic to leave because he was kind of not really enjoying the game. And then we had Mars wanted to leave, and then there was Umbre, and so like basically it was we wanted a goal to make it smaller, to have a more focused practice, because we were like, okay guys, we're getting good. Let's really try to make this more focused. Let's try to make it to the next level. Everything like that. Going along with that, since Day is moving to Japan coming up here in just a couple months, we basically said, like, you know, you're really good and we really like playing with you, but like long term, realistically, once you move to Japan, we're not going to be able to play with you that much. It's just a huge time difference. Plus, him being in the Navy and all that, like his responsibilities are not going to be that flexible. So we focused primarily on a roster of me, Taylor, Dreas, and Marsh. Everything went great the Saturday of Inkstorm Cup. The second day of Inkstorm Cup, during the Last Station game, Marsh was lobby host and DC'd during Game 3, which gave...
What happened?
Marsh was host of the lobby, and he DC'd. His whole internet died. Like his router died and everything like that. So that gave Last Station the win for Game 3, which put him up 2-1. And then we had to start playing with Day. And by all means, like we Day's a good player or anything like, and everything like that. It was just that we haven't practiced, like we focused practice to be those set 4. So we didn't have like set strategies or anything like that with Day. We're kind of coming up with stuff on the fly. So we won Game 4 pretty well. So Last Station won Game 1. We won Game 2. We Marsh DC'd Game 3. We won Game 4. And then Game 5, we lost Rainmaker, which is like Marsh's specialty. We lost that by like 2 points, and then I got an overtime push or something like that. They Last Station had the lead, and we almost got it back in overtime. So yeah, that's basically how that went down. It was a combination of kind of some unfortunate circumstances. By all means, Last Station played really well. They deserve that win, absolutely. I'm not trying to like John or anything like that. Kind of giving some backstory of what happened on our end. Throughout the rest of the tournament, we played. Honestly, I feel like we played pretty well. We ended up getting eliminated in the top 8 match against Stay Firmament. I'm honestly not quite sure what really happened during that match, because by that time Marsh fixed his internet, so we were playing with Marsh again. We were still kind of subbing Day in and out for some games, but we ended up getting 3-0'd by Stay Firmament. And looking back at it, it just kind of looks like there was just some like pivotal fights here or there that we just didn't win throughout those 3 games. That was basically what determined it. They were pretty close games, except for Game 2. Game 2 we got stomped, but Game 1 and Game 3 we could have won easily.
All right. And did you feel like do you feel satisfied with your results, or?
I mean, I feel satisfied given like the internet issues. Like everyone was like pissed off, like bummed. Like we were like, oh great, we had put in all this practice for like nothing. So I was able to help the guys kind of like rebound and stay positive and stuff like that. So I was pretty happy in that aspect. I think overall we did play pretty well. We were really, really looking forward to playing Ghosts, because we were like realized we were probably going to be playing Ghosts round 2 of top 32, and we honestly thought that if we played to the level that we know we can play at, we could have beat them. The last time we did play against Ghosts, which was in the GSM Elite beta run, we beat them in grand finals of that. And I don't think we've played against them or practiced against them since. So we were looking forward to that. So that's the biggest thing I'm personally bummed out about. The team was aiming for kind of like a top 5, top 4 at the very least. So we're a little bit bummed out placement wise, but in terms of overall performance, I think, given what happened, I think we're okay.
All right. I think that's a pretty fair response. I have nothing against that. Good show.
Thank you.
A jolly good show.
Jolly good show, chap.
So yeah, overall, that was one of the bigger upsets. Was that? But then we went into the two bigger ones that I think everyone's talking about, and then we'll talk about the winners as well. Is that Ghost Gaming and STDX finished 3rd and 4th place? STDX beating Ghost Gaming in the losers bracket to finish 3rd, and then they lost to Kraken Paradise. Right? Yes, Kraken Paradise.
Yep.
So, and that was a clean sweep too. That was like a 4-0.
It's Kraken Paradise.
Kraken Paradise
STDX
4-0.
lost.
Yeah, 4-0 was
I
a
thought you
full
were talking about
sweep. No, Ghost and STDX was like 3-2. That was like some close matches, really good games. It was a really good set, showing off the two teams. But Kraken Paradise just straight like 4-0'd them with a sub as well. So I don't know. Do any of you guys want to add anything to that? Like, how do you feel about the two sponsored teams not making it in and also getting pretty much like bossed around in those sets as well?
The only thing I have to say about like the whole SDX thing is all week long, like in my server, there's a guy by the name of Forks, and he watches all of like the scrims, and he was like all week long, he was just like, yo, Negus, like Kendall, he's like, yo, like SDX is getting destroyed like in this scrim, and I'm just like, it's a scrim, guys. They'll do perfectly fine. Like everything will be there once the tournament actually comes along. Their dominance will probably shine through. And as I was watching, like throughout the whole time, I was just like, yo, like some of the sets were like really close. And then when they got to for the win, and then like literally he said it. He was like, yo, for the win is no games. And I was just like, they'll do fine. And then when it came time, he was just like, I told you. And I could not believe it. I was just going with the fact that they were going to be dominant. I thought that they were just off on their game. Ghost Gaming, I did call though. I remember I said the joke. I was like, does it still count because 2 of Tomo's members were on that team? But you were like, nah. So whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't count. It's a new team.
It doesn't count. So all right.
How about you, Walkman?
I mean, is there anything you want me to talk about specifically? Because it's just like a broad ass topic.
Yeah, it's really broad.
I mean, I guess in particular, just more specifically,
right.
STDX and Ghost Gaming not making it. How do you feel they played?
All right, so
do you think? I guess a better question is: do you think Kraken Paradise and FT Win are ahead of them in terms of?
Okay, I guess just to start off with that, no, they're not really ahead of them. I just think they had really good days. I guess if you have been watching maybe Fuzzy streams lately, you may have seen me spectating, in the games for them, for both teams. But I mean, so I kind of know how the scrims have been going for all 4 of those top teams actually this week, because they've just been scrimming each other constantly. And honestly, it was really STDX would be the best one day, then FTW would destroy the teams one day, Ghost Gaming would destroy the teams the next day, Kraken Paradise would destroy in scrims the day after that. It was just they keep rotating with each other. So I mean, when it came down to it, I guess FT Win and Kraken Paradise prevailed, but I mean, they were really close, at least in scrims. And then I guess day of the tourney, things happened. Maybe STDX was feeling it because they were already kind of tilted about some things that happened earlier in the tournament. I guess we can talk about that too.
Yeah, go into it. What's up?
All right, so early in the tournament, obviously they were down 2-1 to Prophecy, and then they tied it up in, I believe it was Clan Blitz Wahoo World. I swear to God, if you watched that game from Fuzzy's perspective, it was freaking beautiful. That was the best I've ever seen him play. Like, he literally put the team on his back that game. And then after that game was game 5. It was Tower Control Snapper Canal. And then they're in the game. Literally everybody readies up. And then they get the word from the TOs or something like that, they want to put it on the stream. And so Prophecy sees that message. They don't believe from spawn. STDX didn't see the message. They're ready to play it out. And then I guess they were just, got into at least a little bit of a heated argument with the TOs about don't stop our injectable. So
You cut out right there. You're kind of lagging right now there, Walkman.
if you looked at that game from the game right before game 4, Fuzzy played amazing to game 5. He didn't. Am I cutting out?
You're good now.
You're back now, yeah.
You kind of were frozen and all of a sudden just reappeared talking. It was great.
All right. I just saw the look on your face and I knew it was like, all right. All right, but yeah, that was kind of stupid. At least STDX still won the match. I'm happy that they won, the match against Prophecy, because that would have been kind of, even if Prophecy won, it would have been like, they really just stopped this game not halfway through. It really just started, but still, you shouldn't be stopping games as it started. But yeah, and then
did they have to like use the same weapons or?
Yeah, everybody readied up right away, whatever. But it was still kind of like
it's more of the momentum break. Is like you're kind of in a rhythm and in a flow, and you're like, I'm ready, and you're mentally prepared, and then someone kind of just stops you and goes, wait, stop everything you're doing, and it kind of gives you a breath and a pause, and you're like, oh, and it kind of takes you out of the mood, so to speak. Yeah, I can agree. I totally get it. I don't know. Yeah, I do agree.
You can tell from the help desk that Fuzzy was actually like really angry. He was like, "Never do this in a set I'm in ever again." He literally said, "Don't ever do that in a set I'm in ever
Fuzzy
again."
was livid.
But I mean,
Fuzzy was livid.
I
don't blame him.
That.
I don't blame him personally.
You shouldn't stop a set. Like, period. If you can manage to get in between a set, maybe even at that, I'd say yes. But like that's, I don't know.
At the moment that you realize the game started, it should have been, all right, let's just restream Fuzzy. He's literally streaming right now. And
or just not stream it. Like there's always that option. Like it happens. I don't know.
My opinion as both a player and a TO is if we're in the middle of game 4 and you're waiting to hear the result and your stream match is already finished and you're finding something else and you want to just join that match and progress, do that. But if it's like already in the lobby, already in like weapon countdown and everything like that, don't even touch it. Tell them to play it out, everything like that. And that's in my personal opinion. I think it's a little bit, you can not harm the momentum of the match that way. But if by all means, if the players are like have already started selecting their weapons and stuff like that, like don't touch it. Just let it play out.
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty big no in my opinion. Like it's just something that you shouldn't do. I feel like it crosses and
also I just want to also to be fair to EGTV, they did apologize afterwards too. Like they said, yep, totally, that's our bad. We screwed up. That won't happen again.
I want to say like the same thing about that. There were a couple like mishaps I saw maybe TOing, and then they completely owned up to it, which is what you should do.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that was great on the part of EGTV. Yep.
I mean, I guess like it's a mistake that shouldn't have happened. So I guess apologizing for it is the fair thing to do.
Yeah. So, I guess this to continue my little rant or whatever was I guess STDX wasn't in the greatest mindset from that, and then they went up to I guess grand winners final or winners semis rather, and then Shaq and the super team for the win 3-0'd them. So that was kind of surprising. Like I told you, these teams kind of went back and forth in the scrims each day. So the fact that I guess finally Shaq and his team just went through the whole tournament without dropping a game, that was kind of impressive at least. And I think it was just they had like really good matchups, to be honest, in their favor. Like I think just to break down the set a little bit, Shaq and Keo and then Fuzzy and Kiver is kind of like even, as frontlining players. And then don't want to put anyone on the spot right now, but Toon is just a flat out better H3 player than Hexen, even though Hexen plays it a lot now. Toon's always been a main of that weapon, so he's just better. And then I guess STDX doesn't really run a backline, so I guess Ice had the advantage there. So yeah, I think it was just they had a definite advantage in their favor, and then they took it all the way from there.
Yep. So, well, Prodigy, what are your thoughts quickly on these two teams?
Yeah. So, about Ghost and STDX specifically, right?
Yeah, just them like not performing
right.
I wouldn't say that it's not them performing, because they finished third and fourth. Like, they still finished at the very high end.
They still had good tournaments.
But everyone expected them to be
bumps.
1-2. Let's put it that way, you know? And it didn't play out that way, so...
So, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be the guy that says, I actually saw FT win getting top 2 based off of our scrims against them. They started, from my understanding of it, it literally started off as like just like a pickup. And just to like do practice scrims, and they just caught fire from the very beginning. From my understanding of it, could be wrong. So I do think that they still had a very hot day for the site day 2 of it, and I also think that, relatively speaking, like in hindsight, they got a easy bracket. STDX, as Walkie kind of touched on it, has been having some issues. Also, when they play Kraken Paradise in finals, Gray got DQ'd because of his lag, which is kind of well known that he's kind of like, at least along the top teams, like he's known to do that from time to time.
So wait, before I begin, because I just want to clarify something. What were the rules of lag in this tournament in particular? Like, were they clearly defined before?
Yeah,
I actually don't know, so that's why I'm
it was literally like, report it to TOs with video evidence, TO discretion. The simple stuff. That's pretty much what it was.
I think similar to what Vesper runs and what he was doing for the what were those called? Ink Force? I can't remember.
Yeah.
So like in hindsight, they had a relatively easy bracket. Again, they're still a great team, and even giving them a slightly harder bracket, I think that I still probably would put them in my top 2, or at least a very good shot to get top 2. And I'm also kind of happy for them. Like, I don't really know any of those players that well, but like Kyo is having a really great year, got a chance to sub for STDX for E3, and now he's going to Japan. Kyo is like, as everyone knows, he's like the ultimate grinder. Is like, wasn't he like the first in NA to get like Prestige 99 or something like that? Yeah. So like, it's cool to see these guys, like these younger guys coming out and performing. That's really, really cool. So STDX, I don't know. I had been watching some of their scrims and stuff like that too, and from talking to some of their players, I knew they had been having a rough time, and I was actually thinking that out of the 2 of STDX and Ghost, that they probably wouldn't get in. They're squabbling more. Let me be old and say the word squabbling. They're squabbling more than they used to in the past. Like they're like blaming
STDX
each other.
I'm sorry.
STDX. Yeah. I don't know much about Ghost. I don't watch their scrims as much because they're always done scrimming by the time I'm awake. But yeah, STDX has been like fighting amongst themselves a lot more. There's a lot more arguments going on that don't, at least from my outside perspective, don't really seem to be beneficial. And it just seems like I'm not really sure. I can't really put blame on any one person or anything like that, but I know Hexen notoriously has been kind of like the vocal leader, at least outside the game. I know like inside the game, Pangit's kind of more of like the in-game caller, and I know Fuzzy's very vocal in-game too. But like out of the game, I know Hexen, like when he streams, like he's always just blaming everyone else. He's like, oh yeah, I played that game terribly, but realistically everyone else sucks too. So like that's the reason why we lost. Everyone else sucks type of thing. And it's just like, it's not a healthy mindset. Like I've always supported Hexen in the terms of being blunt and being honest. If there is feedback that needs to be said, say it. But there's a big difference between giving feedback and saying stuff which just like, oh, we only lost because you went there and like you suck. Like, why'd you do that? Like that's not constructive at all. So from what I've seen from what has been streamed, I was kind of predicting that to happen. I thought Ghost honestly would get top 2, but I think Kraken Paradise was also really hot.
Just to add on to, I guess that was like what I predicted before from all the scrims that I watched from this week. I really thought STDX was the weakest of all 4 of those teams. Like straight out, I did not believe in them. Ghost looked actually amazing against them in every scrim. As far as I know, Ghost was scared more of Kraken Paradise than they were of STDX completely. Like, and honestly, if you look back at the set between STDX and Ghost, Ghost really choked. They had a 3-0 potentially if they just won that first game and not choked it in the last 10 seconds. Like they really could have 3-0'd STDX, and then from there it was just bad maps for them. Really, they really suck at Rainmaker Ghost right now. So that set happens. I have 2 of them. They also aren't very good at tower control. That set also had 1 of those, so that's the 3 losses right there. And somebody else mentioned this in the chat that Ghost looked really good on Splat Zones. They did not drop a game of Splat Zones the entire tournament, even against KP and STDX. So
Wow.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I actually do want to add one more thing. 'Cause you made me think of something. Thinking about comps, I think you mentioned like Ghost struggling on Rainmaker and stuff like that. I was thinking about the comps that STDX was running too.
Yeah,
and I got a lot of
was
really
actually going to bring that up before you did. The L3 Nozzle Nose picks near the end of the tournament were very interesting to me. He picked the H3 and the L3 at one point, if I'm not mistaken. He picked the H3 on Snapper, and then he picked the L3, if I'm not mistaken, the match before that. Or it could have been 2 times H3.
Talking about for Hexen, in hindsight, he literally one-tricked this weapon for like a month. Like, that's the only weapon he played in every scrim, and it was working out okay for them. And Fuzzy was happy with it, Kiver was happy with it, and the whole team seemed all right with it, and then it came to the tournament, and I guess it just wasn't working out.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Prodigy.
I was going to say, that's strange, because from my perspective, when we scrimmed him, he wasn't playing H3 that much. And then he made that tweet of saying, like, please remind me to always play aggressive weapons. Like, I think he put that out like a week before the tournament or something like that.
Yeah.
And then just never won aggressive weapons, which I don't know if that was just like a ploy, but then again, if they're scrimming Ghost, if they're scrimming Kraken Paradise and he's playing like H3 and he runs at the tournament, then like it's not a ploy. You scrimmed against your competition using what you were going to play anyway. And also Kiver going Splatter Shot was really confusing to me.
You mean 2 splatter shots?
No.
Kiver, he went to Splatter Shot with the
not 10 attack, not 10 attack, but
Splatter
Shot.
Scrims.
He didn't do that in the scrims. Yes.
He did not do that.
So maybe that's something that they were just hiding from you guys, or maybe that's something that they just kind of threw in towards the end and made a change.
I just say that seemed more like a comfort play. If you know,
it might
Kiver,
have been.
Like if you know Kiver, that's his favorite weapon to play. So I feel like that had to deal with just more like making him comfortable and just going with what would maybe mesh with the team at that point in time.
Right. I don't want to, that's certainly possible. I don't want to get into like to that level of kind of like making guesses or predictions or something like that. Just me personally. But it was a big question mark to me because like splashdowns are really not seen very much right now. I haven't really seen like anyone practicing any weapons that use like splashdown besides Dia and Hydra, and like that's because it's Dia. So that was like super confusing to me seeing them play H3 and like Splattershot was just like, from everything that I knew about them, that wasn't going to be their comp. That wasn't going to be the meta that they were going to be running, and they were just doing that, and it just didn't seem like it was working out for them.
And I guess we'll go into FT Win and Kraken Paradise. How did you guys feel they played? What do you think of the super team, as Shaq is calling it now? Toon, Kyo, Ice, and Shaq. Do you think it was just a one-off thing? Do you think that this could be a team for the future? Do you see sponsorships incoming, TM,
Well, first of all, they better, just off of winning this, they better just, who cares? If not saying that they will, but even if they never win another tournament again, you better just ride this out, milk it out as much as possible. Get yourself a sponsor, man. This is an opportunity to go to any land. Well,
here's the thing that I do want to bring up is like Ghost Gaming gets a lot of sponsorship because of the viewership that they have. Like they're not just good; they have a lot of viewer base. Now we all know these players, but like I feel like the casual audience doesn't know them, other than Shaq writing an essay during Genesis. So I guess my point is, does just single-handedly beating these teams warrant a sponsor? Like, obviously, we're all going to say yes, but I mean, like, realistically, do you see someone looking into the scene going, they beat Ghost Gaming and STDX, we want to get on that?
Yeah, at least from what I see all these things on Twitter. It was like, get KP a sponsor, they deserve it so much. And I mean, people don't realize that, sponsorship is more than really just, winning.
Right.
KP is honestly like the least marketable team of all time. They don't talk, they don't use social media, they don't do all these things. And I personally love all of them. I love Gray to death. I've talking Gray up a storm on cast before. Like, he's a phenomenal player. But they really aren't the most marketable guys out there. But I think it'd be cool though, because this is one thing, like, I don't want to say this should be the reason they get sponsored, but they're the only top team, really, like top team with female players on there, and maybe that appeals to some organization, especially in a game like Splatoon where there are a lot of female players. There's a lot of appeal for that. So, and just to mention, if the chat doesn't know, it's Kaji who's the female player. So yeah, as well as her sister Sweegly, who I believe is still on the team. So yeah, they're actually, maybe that's something that they can use to market themselves. And honestly, when you're looking for a sponsorship, I'm sure Prodigy would tell you, as I think he's on the grind for that as well. You want to market anything you can.
Yep.
Diversity is huge. That's all I will say.
So you selectively picked one of each. You're like, we got to get a female now. We got to get,
I mean, you can go that route if you want, but just in general, diversity sells.
All right. Well, I mean, that's great. Congratulations, by the way, to FT win. I think they deserved it. They played really clean in all the matches. I don't say this often, but Toon's actually one of my favorite players. I never bring that up, but ever since Splatoon 1 and even forward, I always looked at Toon and I was like, that's a cool guy, man. So I've always appreciated Toon.
Is it also because you have like this actual love for the L3?
I mean, that too. Like, he started picking up the L3 and I was like, Toon, my man, constantly picking up that L3. I've never talked to Toon on a personal level, but just know that I love that dude just because of his gameplay and just the way he seems super chill all the time. I'm like, yeah, I support this dude wholeheartedly. So go for it, Toon.
I definitely think the teams should make an effort to try. I mean, I don't see why not. Like, you legitimately, as we talked about earlier, like won like the largest prize pool you've ever had, right? So like, if you're going to try, now's the time. At least, and like, part of trying doesn't mean just like, hey, random organizations, look, we won this thing. It's more like, hey, random Twitter viewer, I just won this big tournament. Come watch me stream over here on Twitch. Come check out my videos on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter. That's how you sell it. That right there is how you sell it.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, also for the other team, because I only really talked about Kraken Paradise, I guess for FT win, I think they are a little bit more marketable. I think it's really cool that they're all young. They're also kind of like, there's some people in the community that are young and immature. These ones aren't. I think they're actually, like, when they need to be mature, they are mature. But they've still also got that personality that I think all of them, like, Shaq's got a great personality, and he's very charismatic. Same with Keo, I think they're actually, like, they're like mature, but they're also still kids, and you can feel that, it's a good way for them to market themselves, and I think they'll get viewers just off of that if they can stream. So,
yep. All right. I mean, I guess that wraps up the tournament. Does anyone want to add anything about the matches themselves? Or, actually, I do want to shout out one more team. Prophecy actually did pretty good, and the fact that they got 3-2 against SCDX is pretty nice as well. They just keep showing up. Like, they never get all the way there. But, I mean, they've won BNS a couple of times. But, I mean, like, in terms of this international stage, they're always overlooked. But I would say, like, watch out, because they seem to be able to take games off of top teams. They're starting to bridge that gap. Let's put it that way.
I don't know. If you watch the losers, what was it, like, losers quarterfinals, they got completely stomped by Ghost Gaming. Like, it was disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, some teams are better than others. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at it like that,
nah, they got
3-2 against SCDX, and then afterwards they get 3-0'd by Ghost Gaming, but then Ghost Gaming loses 2-3 to SCDX. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It just shows that sometimes matches happen where you get rolled or not.
I mean, isn't it the same thing with? I'm sorry to say, with kind of the one team for Splatoon 2, like the teams that he's had, they've done decently well. Seriously?
Yeah, I mean, the one has always found himself on teams, excluding his short stint on No Fear way back when.
Whoa, really? I didn't know that.
I never knew about that.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he was on the team for like 2 weeks, but he kept holding forward. We're like, bro, like, stop. Like, you can't do this. and he found a whole team of people that would hold forward with him, and he's worked out ever since. Anyway, so he's always found himself on teams that, while also seem to involve a lot of drama, also can place well, consistently well. Prophecy is actually kind of the exception to that, in my opinion, mainly because he was on like Neptune, right, for a while. And then there was Neptune shoot-off called Eclipse, I think. I think is what it was. And like those teams, like when he was on those teams, they were consistently kind of playing like, you know, they were placing better than Deep Blues was back then for sure. Like in terms of just NA alone, they're in terms of active teams, probably like top 4-ish, top 5-ish, just from not including EU, just looking at NA. And then when Prophecy was formed, they kind of took a little bit of a dip, in my opinion. And I think part of it is because some of their players, while good, also kind of play some unconventional stuff. Like Misa obviously is really known for his roller, but when he does play like other things, I think they kind of struggle. They had Germ for this tournament, who is like a junior one trick. I'm sure he can play other things, but like Germ just plays a ton of junior, which was again not really conventional. And I think they also had Killer, I think Killer 2 or something is his name. Yeah. Also a good player from my experience playing against him with him and like out in solo queue and stuff like that. But I don't know too much about him. I think he plays a lot of Machine.
Yeah, Sloshing Machine, and I think Slosher.
Yeah. So Machine, again, something that's not really seen. So these guys work really well. Specifically the core of Misa, Germ, and Killer, because I think they were on a team before Prophecy. It was basically Misa joined Prophecy, and then like slowly over time started kind of picking up some of these other players that I think are all from like,
I think they're from Central or South America.
Central or South America, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. So it'll be interesting to see if they can kind of convert to a more kind of quote-unquote meta, and see if that works out for them. But I don't know. I think just this one tournament, they'll need to do more, in my opinion, other than just this one tournament. Cool.
So I'm going to cover two more things, then we'll get into some viewer questions. This is all still kind of stemming from Inkstorm. It's kind of just an Inkstorm recap, I guess. As a viewer, how did you guys like the stream? Did you feel there was anything wrong with it? Do you think anything should be improved? I guess, do you think it did justice for the prize pool that was being offered? Let's put it that way.
From what I watched, I did not watch all of it, but I guess you're just talking about production. That's the only thing I'm supposed to talk about.
Like as a viewer, like yeah, if you're just a viewer watching it.
I guess. All right, as a viewer, I guess I can take this into account too. Then, before I get into like my deeper, I guess, opinion, just like a light thing, was day one there were some hiccups on like frame drop issues that happens at the beginning of every EGTV stream. I don't know why. But it's something I hope that they work on, because it literally happens, I think, at the beginning of every one of their streams. So I hope they get that sorted out somehow, because they always seem to figure it out for day two, but the day one events, I don't know, it always happens for at least when I'm watching. And then for as a viewer, I did not watch too much of it, but I think the memes kind of in this tournament, like the chat, it kind of went a little bit too far in my opinion. Like, first of all, like, to me, it's how many times can you find... Yeah, like the car accident, and then also the fact that, I don't know, sometimes it's even the mods who start the memes. Like, I understand, all right, you don't, it's just, all right, it's a funny meme, haha, whatever, but when it's the mods who start, you know, that, it gets to me, it's like, come on. Especially when it's singling out top players. Like, you know, if that was anybody but Fuzzy and Dude, who are the two top players that constantly got memed on in this chat, it was literally everybody would cry like, that's wrong. But because it's these two guys who can take it, I guess it's not a problem. And I guess to me, it's like, that's very hypocritical from the Splatoon community, who's always like, you know, talking about how, you know, every week we have somebody else with depression and people always rally behind that, but then you're going to go and attack other people when you don't know their situation, you know? It's just,
it's okay.
Like,
it's okay. They're a top player. So
yeah, that's okay. What it is. Like, you apparently, because they're top players. I know, all right, Fuzzy shits on a lot of people sometimes, but I mean, you're supposed to be, you hate him because of this, and then you're gonna do it back to him. That's like, really? Like, literally just grow up. Like, come on. Nine said it in his tweet, and somebody commented like, these are things that they teach you in elementary school. Like, you should know this by now.
Easy.
You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know. That kind of pissed me off, is like, every single tournament, it's the same two top players that I guess get memed on, you know? And it's gotten sickening to me at this point, because especially, I guess this was a viewer question for later. Why didn't Dude play? It's because they benched him. Straight up. I'll tell you that right now. I know why. Dude got benched for this tournament, and he really wanted to play. But they felt like the team was better with another lineup, and that's what they went with. And he really was upset about that. He took it very professionally, though, and he also had to put up with these memes. So it's like, come on.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I'm not saying anything else other than sure, yeah, that's right. I still think that some memeing is fine though, just as long as it's not personal attacks.
We run BNS. I'm perfectly fine with memes.
Like,
it's just,
like STDX overrated, like the debated memes. I love those, man.
The debated is perfectly fine. I don't know, when it's like other things. Come on.
No,
it's like,
I get that.
I wanna add a caveat to this. I totally agree with what Walkman said about all that stuff. I think the timing is a little bit interesting because, one, the hypocritical part that Walker, you already kind of touched on, and two, at least with the Dude one, was a little bit, you know, yes, the car accident part was like obviously serious. That's not like a joking matter. But I think they said like specifically was like he got in a car accident because his car ran out of like blinker fluid or something like that, which is like
that's
okay,
so dumb.
that's like so obvious that it's not true. Like, I'm sorry, like even like, you know, a 12-year-old watching or something like that should know that blinker fluid isn't actually like a thing. At least me personally. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe there is.
I think, Prodigy, just before you go, I think the issue stemmed more from a lot of people who interpreted that, who were his fans, then started memeing in his server after. Like, it went beyond the Twitch.
Yeah. No, and that part, like, I totally agree. Like, any sort of meme that, like, Twitch chat's gonna do should, like, stay in Twitch chat. And, like, I'm sorry, no matter what we say, no matter what anyone says, like, those things are always going to exist. There's always gonna be stream monsters. There's always gonna be Twitter trolls, Twitch trolls. They're going to exist. We can do our best, but they're always going to exist. So, like, we have to, you know, do a good job of, like, as a community, trying to, like, not let that control us. Because I do think that, you know, like Astral, for example. Astral is a huge memer. I think he started the Dude stroke stuff. And I'm pretty sure he started the Dude car accident stuff. He's just a stream monster. That's what he is. That's his type of personality. You meet him in person, he is super nice. He is super funny, easygoing. Everyone loves hanging out with him. He's just a troll. That's just what he is, right? So, like, we should, like, know that that's what he's going to do and just either let him do his thing and ignore him or, like, do something about it. I don't know. Like, that's not really our place. So it's, like, it's kind of like, you know, a complex kind of topic. But I agree, like, if you're going to speak out about not being mean to people, do it across the board. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Fuzzy said. You still have to be nice to him. Like, show him the error of his ways, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's my personal opinion. You know, if something as clear as, like, lack of blinker fluid that's, like, really stupid, like, I'm sorry that there's some people that believed it. I think that one's, like, a little bit kind of just like, okay, this is, like, really obviously, like, it's just like a joke. But I definitely understand for those that didn't understand that it was a joke and why they would be upset. Totally understand. But I do agree, again, that the rest of the stuff, like the stroke stuff, the picking on Fuzzy stuff, even other Dude stuff that I don't even remember, like 100% should not really be happening anymore.
I mean, I think that comes down also just to the stream. Like, you're not, like, as Prodigy said, you'll never stop a memer.
Well,
you'll never stop.
But I think the issue is like Walkman was saying, is like, it's one thing to have it happen, it's another thing to encourage it. And I think that's what Walkman was trying to say.
Yeah,
like, a lot of the mods were encouraging those things instead of, like, supporting it. Like for example, in our chat, like, we are super open. We allow so much to go through, but, like, we don't act like, I'm not sitting there actively encouraging someone berating someone else. You know what I mean? Like we do tell people, like, oh, well, like, now you're crossing a line here. Like, we do have a line. It's very low, but we do have one. You know what I mean? And I think the issue is, is like as a mod, your job should just be not to encourage any of it. Like even if you like it, like the debated overrated stuff, I love that stuff. I think it's fun. I think it kind of like makes Twitch chat in unity for a little bit, which is weird in a way. It's everyone just having good fun, right?
Yeah.
But like I'm not sitting there spamming it as a mod either, you know?
Also, that's like looking at a whole team rather than like singling one person, like, and then saying like, oh, they had a stroke, like they're dead, like, or they're in the hospital or something like that. Like that's completely different, not necessarily a joking matter.
Mhm.
And
I guess my whole point is kind of like maybe it's the whole thing of having a different standard from, obviously you're talking about something from BNS and then maybe from your like monthlies to majors. Like I would feel like you would have a different standard of how, not really how your chat would be obviously, but what you would allow and what you wouldn't allow.
Well,
Like,
here's
I
the
feel
thing
like
is
for
that
that's fine.
well, no, but here's the thing. Even on BNS, we don't have that kind of stuff in chat. Actually, it's like it's mostly us who's inappropriate, not so much the chat. Like people come for that. They don't participate in it. If that makes sense. I don't know.
I guess my point is really like I wasn't there when it actually like occurred in chat that this happened. I'm a mod for EGTV, and I think I would have timed out some people had I been there. But I watched the VOD of it. Dude literally said in chat, "Can you guys stop? It's really annoying me, whatever." And the mod said, "We're going to, all right, that's it." Dude said stop, and people still kept going, and I didn't see them get timed out or banned. So, like, that's my point. Is like, come on, dude really just said stop. The mod said stop, and then after that, there has to be a timeout ban, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
I think that's fair.
Yeah, 100%. Like, there should be like an unwritten rule of like anything. Like, if like you're making a joke about someone and like, you know, they're kind of laughing along, ha 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 ha. So the whole consent thing. As soon as they say like, stop making jokes about this, please don't include me. I don't want to be a part of this. Stop. End of discussion. Stop. Like, you know, that's especially in a moderated situation.
All right. Well, anyways, back to what it was. How do you guys feel about the rest of the stream? Do you feel like it flowed well? Did you like the commentators on the event? Did you enjoy how it was run? I guess the best thing I'm describing is, did you feel like it represented the $20,000 event? I say 20,000 because that's like an estimation I'm giving to like having 8 players flown out to Japan and housing and stuff like that.
I'm just gonna say that I pretty much only watched like semifinals and finals, so I didn't really watch that much of it. The casting I liked. What I did see, production seemed pretty. I guess there were some bumps at the start. I didn't know about that, but by the time that I was watching it, seemed pretty smooth overall. The whole is banana not playing thing that was happening during the losers finals was a little confusing, but from my understanding of it, that might not have been like an EGTV fault thing. I don't really know. I don't know the details. Well, other than that, I thought it went pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people may hate me for it. I still feel the same way that I felt about the US Inkling Open. But I still feel like at the end of the day, I know it can't happen, but I really feel like if it was a LAN, I would have loved it even more. Like if they had like an actual just LAN for it, I really would have appreciated that. Like that would have been huge. Like a LAN. I know.
Like you're asking a lot, man. That's not. I would say that's out of even EGTV's hands.
I know. It's just like for something that big, that would have been dope. Just to like having it, like even having a chance, just to see people like just because I feel like it would have been like the most heated event. A trip to Japan, that would have been amazing to see in person. But besides that, everything else besides the stream, it was amazing. I thought I only saw day 2. So I enjoyed every moment of it. I thought the commentating was good, and
I thought the matches and the commentating itself were great. I like, as usual, that stuff is really great. I think the animations and all that each TV does is always really high class. The one thing I will point out, and I don't think this is like an EGTV problem, I think this is just a general problem, is like we still need to find ways to appropriately deal with downtime in a way that like no one else does. It's like downtime is so long in our events sometimes, and like our solution to it is let's keep the commentators talking, or let's just put on music with a timer. And it's like I feel like we need to start thinking of ways to fill up that time. especially in an event where it's like there's so much on the line. I feel like we should start thinking of ways to make things more encouraging for people to stick around, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, at least from, I guess, the commentators, I thought there were good pairs, for the most part. No one really that I can think of that performed pretty, like, not performed up to their standard for the commentating. But, I like Prodigy said, there was a lot of waiting. I don't think it was really controlled. Like, you couldn't, EGTV couldn't really do nothing about that. There's just, a lot of waiting because of certain situations with players or whatever. But what can you do at that point,
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I think is something we should start thinking about, is like, what can you do? I don't know, commercials, little bits, little clips, anything to fill that downtime. Like, you can think of well in advance.
One thing, all right, like, really quickly, is that would increase the stream, like, people would not realize they're waiting so long, is literally if you had, like, what we're doing right now, how the commentator's talking like this, people would, like, think that nothing's wrong, honestly. Like, if it was just Nine and Zach talking in a video call, which I think they did for one stream. I forget what stream it was. Not EGTV, but another stream. I think people would at least enjoy the waits way more.
Yeah, or you can find other things. All I'm trying to say is, like, I think that's something that we should really start thinking about. Because I think in terms of a production level, EGTV, us, Gen Game, we've kind of have the sauce. You know what I'm saying? We got that secret sauce figured out. We all have our flow of tournaments, so to speak. Like, I don't think Prodigy can speak directly for Gen Game, but I mean, like, you work with them, right? And Kendall, you do too. So you guys have, like, a flow, right? Like, your waiting screen panel, your bracket, your two teams, the map view goes into the gameplay, goes back into the roster view. Like, there is a pattern, and we all have it. Like, you can see it, right? We've kind of perfected that formula all together through copying or improving on each other's work. You know what I mean? Like, we've all looked at each other's work and gone, okay, let's improve on it, right? And
that's not unique to Splatoon. Like,
no, that's everything. I'm not trying to say, like, that's not what I'm trying to bring up. What I mean is, like, we've kind of kept perfecting it, and I think we're at the point now where we can stop and look at that and go, okay, now we've got this on lock. What can we do to benefit downtime or encourage something else to make it a higher event, right? Because if I'm being honest, like, the marketing definitely set the stage for it to be a big event. But in terms of production of, like, what changed from a $100 tournament to a $10,000 tournament in terms of hyping it up on the stream itself? Nothing. And I'm not trying to say this is an EGTV thing where it's like, why didn't you do more? It's more like we should be thinking of ways to make that better. Like, why should we care about a $10,000 tournament watching it compared to a $100 tournament when you get the same experience as a viewer? Other than saying that they win a trip to Japan.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that point of view. I think that's more of like a marketing thing rather than like a production thing.
Well, no, because the marketing was on point for around the event, right? Like, they constantly talked about it. They're like, "Here's a trip to Japan," but, like, what about during the event, right? Like,
right,
you're expected to know who STDX is,
right? But again, like, that's like, in my opinion, they're related but different topics in my opinion. So, like, what I mean by that is, like, during the actual event, during the tournament, why aren't you talking about the actual Splatoon, like the actual land that you're winning a trip to in Japan, right? Like, not just like, hey, the prize pool is you go to Japan. It's like, hey, there's this the prize is people are going out for this, and this land is happening in Japan on these dates, yada yada yada. Like, your events associated with that, right? Like, why how come, like, you don't talking about that so much, stuff like that? Maybe there's not details.
I mean, that's true too.
That's true. I don't know the date of it, and I think I watched the entire grand final set.
Right.
Or losers final.
Actually, I don't think I even saw a mention of Shinobism. Aren't they the ones providing the event for the prize pool?
I think so. I don't know. I don't know the details.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm not speaking on behalf of them. It's more just like, I guess that's one point of it. I felt like I didn't actually know, other than there was a trip to Japan. And the second one is, like I said, there's no build up to any of these teams other than if you knew who they were before and the chat explained it to you, then you would understand the gravity of the game, so to speak.
I think that's important. How it ties into the production side of things is that when you have an online tournament that's reaching 1,000+ viewers and you don't have that type of stuff, people kind of just come in, like a random viewer who doesn't watch competitive Splatoon is going to come in and be like, cool. That's about it. That's all they're going to get from it, because they're just like, oh, these teams are good, but like that's it. Like there's no real like hook. There's no like, oh wow, they're playing for this huge prize, or like, oh wow, there's this next thing coming up that I know about because it was just broadcast to me throughout the entire tournament of like, hey, there's next big lands coming up. Watch it on these dates. Right.
Like I said, I think there's like I guess that's what I'm trying to say. That's the next step, in my opinion. I think for all of us is to like look at what we're doing now and saying we've perfected this part now. The actual event itself, we've kind of gotten all the overlays and everything down. Now let's work on ways to build the storyline, build the narrative, make sure casters are more focused. Like we always say, casters just like ramble forever, but it's like they don't have a guide either. Like we're not guiding them. We're like, you guys are casting, go on. And they just cast, right? Like, it's up to the casters to kind of make their way on the matches and the build-up, but I feel like we could help accommodate that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of ways that we could start improving things, and I think that's the next step.
Yeah, I think I do agree with that. Like, the production could help give a little bit more of like a guidance to the casters to give them something to like build off of or around.
Anyways, that's just the tidbit I wanted to add. Like I said, it's not in relation to InkTV directly.
Say one thing about, I guess you asked for the production and stuff like that. I was extremely let down by those trailers. Like, not to put InkTV on the spot, but at the end, the Don't Park on the Grass and G6 or whatever, they always produce like the best trailers that get you hype and stuff, and I didn't feel it from that one. So I just want to, put their production team on notice that the next one they gotta, hit it out the park. Like they always do. I don't know. They always have the best clips. The commentators talking gets you hyped or whatever. But this one, I wasn't really feeling it.
So I just want to quickly mention something because Melissa in chat was like, can we put a guide together? And that's not what I'm trying to bring up. I'm not saying like there's a guide to commentators and this is how you should follow it. I'm saying we should guide you on how the event will run and allow you to take breaks and allow you to know what you should be talking about at certain points in time to give more of a focused experience, as opposed to we're going to let you ramble for an hour and just try and fill time to make sure until the next event happens, because that sucks for you and it sucks for the viewers. Go ahead, Prodigy. Sorry.
I just wanted to add some of the stuff is Gen Game's been kind of incorporating some of the stuff, like the clips. Like they Gen Game streamed I think it was called Fresh Start Cup.
Yeah, they did.
And I know Spoon, you obviously gave a shout out to like the kind of production level that they were doing.
Dude, it was badass. I love it.
So getting a chance to like go to that room, I wasn't there for the first day of it, but the second weekend of it, I was there, and like actually seeing it in action was awesome. Gen Game definitely does have an advantage in the sense that he has a venue. Trevor, the guy that runs it, has a venue that he can have all the stuff in. Obviously, he has space to do like live productions rather than like even for the online. Like Fresh Start Cup was an all online thing, but we're fortunate enough to live in an area where Kendall's in the area, I'm in the area, DJ's in the area, even Walkman's in the area. We had Milana video chat in, and we put like a TV monitor up there to make it look like she was actually there and everything like that. That was on the second day. But he also she's got stuff going on now where he can record clips on I think it's on a second computer.
Yeah,
he buffers the game and do like replays and stuff like that.
Yeah, he buffers the video and then puts it back in real time and then makes a little clip out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like honestly, seeing that stuff is awesome. Like seeing it live happen in person is so cool. So cool. Again, I know that they have a little bit more resources for something like this. Like I know InkTV is running this off of someone's like home computer, I'm pretty sure, and stuff like that. I get that there's limitations there, but I just want to give a big shout out to Gen Game, not just because we work with them, but because like their actual work that Trevor puts into it is amazing.
Well, you can see that he's into it. Like I didn't see him stream Splatoon before, and now that he's all into it, I see those little streams that he does where he plays Splatoon in his studio. He's done a Splatoon stream of just like Trevor playing Splatoon 2 on the Gen Game channel at the same analyst desk that we were casting from, which is just cool. Like I just want to know, awesome. Trevor, I watch you. Does anyone want to talk about anything else regarding that, or we'll go into some questions here? Okay.
I'm good.
We'll
Me
go into
too.
some questions. Let's see. Jordan asks, what does our community need to do to put itself in a position to have more events like Inkstorm Cups? How often should these events like this be held? Bi-weekly, monthly, bi-monthly, semi-annually, annually, etc.?
Well, Inkstorm Cup is kind of as an exception in a couple different ways. One, the age limit, right? Having the age limit of 16 or older, we probably could have gotten. There probably would have been a lot more teams if there wasn't an age restriction. So theoretically, in terms of pure like participants standpoint, Inkstorm Cup could have been even bigger. Second, it's not every day where you have some sort of sponsor willing to fly 2 teams out to Japan for like a single weekend, hypothetically, for a 4-team LAN. Like, this is a pretty big event. Like, all things considered, this is huge.
Oh no, it's
really,
huge. I'm not denying that. It got really good viewership too. It was great.
Yeah. So to get to the level of Inkstorm Cup, which I think is what Jordan's tweet specifically mentioned, or just like Inkstorm Cup, probably not going to happen anytime soon. In terms of actual like prize winnings, in terms of just big online majors, there's been a definite lack of that. I think, from my understanding of it, and during Splatoon 1, there was more of these like big like monthly tournaments, or like every other month online or every like 2 or 3 months big online tournament, and not so many of like the weeklies. Like the weeklies weren't as popular. And then when Splatoon 2 came around, I feel like the weeklies became really popular, and these big, major online tournaments that happened every like 3-4 months kind of like died off. And I'm not sure if that was done on purpose or whatnot. Maybe I'm wrong about this. This is kind of just what I'm kind of thinking about in hindsight. So I think there needs to be a shift away from the weeklies, less weeklies and more online, like majors. And I think you would help kind of boost performance for that type of stuff.
So I can't speak on behalf of anyone else, but for us in particular was more, it's just a lot of work.
It is. It's an insane amount of work.
That's the best way to describe it. Is like we try to accommodate a lot of like questions or people think that they have needs for, right? Like people originally said they wanted a weekly that had something more important than just like entering a tournament with 20 people. So we brought back BNS because people wanted it, and that's become popular. But it takes a lot of resources to run that every week. We now have a weekly podcast. We're trying to run 2 extra shows that are coming out. It's like we've been working on all of these things. So a bigger major tournament is like we need to create all new overlays. We need to make sure it's up to par with production standards. We need to make sure that everything is good, right? And that takes it. Everyone thinks it takes like a week. This takes months, man, because you have to make sure you get it commissioned if you want.
You guys aren't even running any LANs like EGTV. Like it's stepped up to like run 4 LANs a year and stuff like that. Like,
but you have to understand, like EGTV hasn't like I can't speak for them again, but like I'm sure that they've thought about making a website, or like they've started Fresh FM and that went like 2 episodes and then they've kind of been on hiatus, right? Like there's a reason for that, man. Like land planning takes a lot of work, and that's what they're focused on, and we're focusing a lot more online stuff like the website, the shows, the stuff like that. So to run like a large scale tournament is like we need to invest a lot into it. Now, I'm not trying to say we're not going to do one anymore. Like we're talking about things, right? But like it takes time. I can't just magically make one and have it happen in 2 weeks, right? We want to do it right. We want to do it properly. If it's not done properly, it's not a big event. So why bother doing it? So that's it. It takes time. None of us really get paid to do this, so it's that's what it is. It's all our free time.
That's like the hard part, obviously, is like this literally is, to run a big event, that means it's probably Spoon, Blake, Jordan, they're all available for 2 days on the same weekend, which, isn't always, the case. So it's really hard for that. They aren't getting paid for it. So I think in an ideal world, we would have, to answer Jordan's question, at least once a month. In my opinion, like the 3rd or 4th week of the month would probably be the best because, usually patches don't happen that late into the month. But
I'm going to give a controversial opinion, or maybe it might be controversial, but I think if someone ran a major every single month, it loses its value.
Yeah, but this is what I was gonna say. Is I don't want the major to be from the same organization that month. Like 1 month it's InkTV, then the next GSM, then after that is EGTV.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, because if it was like a month, like if we ran a monthly, I think people are just gonna be like, well, that's a monthly. It's nothing big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the reason why Inkstorm Cup is so big, because if we're being honest, there were like you said, they apologized for everything, but overall there were a lot of like big things that came up that made the help desk very heated. So in terms of like a tournament organization, it wasn't like the most efficient thing. It wasn't like the smoothest thing as butter, right? As expected in big events. But like, it's so big because it doesn't happen all the time. The last Inkstorm Cup was like 8 months ago. Like, that's why it's so big, is because it very rarely happens. And when it does, people think it's big. It's a marketing thing, really. Like, if we run a major and we start announcing and hyping it up, people are going to be like, oh, that's crazy. If we did it every single month, people are just like, oh, yeah, it's that monthly tournament that happens. Just like people see BNS, right? We've had over $200 almost every single week. We had $400 last week. And people are still like, yeah, it's a weekly event. It's BNS, you know? It's like, yeah, but you can win money. So a lot of it is based just off of marketing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I know we've been at GSM, we've been trying to do this GSM Elite thing, which is just every other week, and we haven't officially decided, but I'm pretty sure it kind of is decided that we're going to change it from like every other week to like a monthly, because no one was really entering, even though I talked to like at least 12 different teams, and every single one of them was like, oh my god, amazing idea, yes, please do it. And then like none of them entered, almost none of them entered. So I think there's a weekly tournament burnout. People just don't care about weeklies overall. Besides BNS like started really high when they first came back, went down a little bit, and now they're coming back up, in my opinion, as a player. And I think a lot of that's from like the donation kind of side of things. You guys have been very fortunate in getting some donations to kind of help incentivize some people coming back, which has been very healthy. However, how long is that going to last? Don't know.
Well, that's the thing. We don't know either. We just exactly. We throw it out there and we go, if you want, and it keeps working. We never expected to get that much money ever, to be clear.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that's what you guys like are depending on or anything like that. Like, you guys are obviously going to run them even without the donations.
Yeah.
Obviously. But again, I think it just kind of shows that like, if there isn't some sort of incentive there, teams don't care, and weeklies are the exact opposite place of where you're going to find incentive, because it happens every single week.
Yep. Let me see if there's another question here. Dave Andrus, my boy, he asked, can I get Negus's thoughts on super teams and whether Splatoon needs more of them? And then you have 9 posting a gif of all your basketball players in a super team.
Name the players.
I don't know, man. I don't watch basketball.
Yes. I love it. That was great. I wanted that moment.
I know you like them.
Amazing.
LeBron's probably on there.
Answer the question, Kendall.
Oh my gosh, this is just amazing. No, so I know a lot of people know me as a LeBron fan, and Nine has actually brought this up already. Dynasties sell. Sorry to say it. Dominance also sells. Nobody cares about that one-off team that won once. They get a sports center like congratulations, and then everybody talks about the Yankees, the Patriots, the Lakers. Everybody loves dominance, and they love to see teams that are obviously coordinated and they know what they're doing. I think that for Splatoon, it's obviously everybody's gonna hate it. My opinion on it, it's not a bad thing. You're probably gonna see more of them, as like you're gonna see more of them. I feel like For the Win is, in all honesty, they basically kind of took the SCDX model. Yo, you're really good at this game. You guys are also really good at this game. You had tournament success. All right, let's just team up together. Cool. I mean, I don't know the background of their story, but cool. You guys, you're good. You're good. You're good. We want to win. Cool. Let's win. I mean, it's kind of the same thing that like Hexen talked about like how long ago. Sorry to say it, if you're tired of losing, I mean, yeah, you can keep building with your team. You can try to be a Deep Blues. They've even made changes to try to take themselves to the next level. Sorry to say it, yeah, super teams are gonna happen. Like even if you look at what Deep Blues tried to do, they tried to make their team into an even more powerful version of what they had before with the decisions that they made. So you're gonna see more of them, and you're gonna see a lot more players that, especially with how young their team is. There's gonna be more players that are gonna do the same thing. I can't see people not doing it. There's probably more in the works right as we speak now. So yeah.
Mhm.
That's just me.
There's no reason not to at this point. Like,
Yeah.
Honestly, if you're not tied down by an organization, find the best team.
Yeah.
Forget whatever team you're on, honestly, and do what you got to do to win. Like, all right, there's some people that, you know, it's all about just, you know, grinding with your team, and that's perfectly fine as long as, you know, that's what you want. Like, but if you're complaining about winning, you know, sometimes you just got to chalk it up. I'm the best player on this team. I see it every day. I have to go find something else, you know? And, you know, that's what some players just got to do. When things just don't work out. Like, I know maybe some people don't call it like a super team since they were like around for a long time, but like Ghost Gaming / Olive is like, they did poach Urza from Rising Moon. They did, like, they're playing with Brian now, who was just subbing for Shikara, and he hasn't really been playing with them since.
You also had Fuzzy.
Yeah, and they also had Fuzzy at one point. So, I mean, you know, it's what you got to do to win. Like, especially like when you think about it, it's like FT just won a huge tournament. What was another pickup recently that just won a huge tournament? Oh, wait, or they didn't win, but E3 was pretty much a win for them, and it was Backsquids. You know, that was a win for them. That was a pickup team or a European super team or something like that, and it worked out for them. You know, you just got to do what you got to do.
To echo kind of those thoughts, 100% agree. The only thing I would kind of add is just like, it doesn't necessarily have to be you have to find like the Star Blaster and the Star Tech player and put them all together. Just find a group of people that are good, that have the same goals as you do, right? Like it's completely fine to have a competitive team that just wants to hang out and be friends and like play in a more serious setting while being friends. Like, okay, I know you're gonna laugh about that.
No, I was laughing at something in chat.
Oh, okay.
Chat.
Okay.
Well, that was kind of. Man. I was trying to say that was kind of my point about your team. You guys are trying to.
Dave's a clown.
You're trying to make like focus. I mean, at the end of the day, like, yeah, I understand. You can always have fun with people in this game. Fun doesn't have to stop just because you're on a good team.
Yeah.
But sorry to say it, if you are tired of losing with the same team over and over again, not telling you to abandon them, not telling you to like anything like this or that, but after a while, I feel like even your team should be like, yo, like, you're kind of a good player. Like, maybe it's time for either us to like focus on our goal of like maybe getting better, or it might be time for you to realize like, hey, maybe I need to find some other people that have the same liked mind as I do. And it's just, we want to scrim every single week. We want to get this done. We want to win. We want to win more tournaments. And that's kind of has to be your goal if that's what you want it to be. So yeah. I wouldn't say just super teams. So yeah.
Yeah, it's not just that was kind of my point. Is like, it doesn't have to be just a super team. Like, the part of the reason why, again, Deep Blue is like kind of narrowed down its roster is because we wanted to find the people that were the most dedicated and would fit the vision as a team unit. And that was a discussion when we told Umbre, we were like, you know, this is the reason why we're doing this. Of course he was upset at first, but literally after like 2 to 3 minutes of him being upset, he turned around and said, yeah, no, honestly, like, it makes sense. Like, I kind of saw this coming. I agree with, like, it makes sense. Like, I get it. And like, if you guys have been teaming for as long as you have, and you kind of just say like, look, X, Y, Z, I'm sorry, this is what I want to do. I don't want to. I want to go and actually pursue it. They should support you, right? Like, theoretically. I've kind of talked about this before, but like, when I had a bunch of free time growing up and I was playing Halo, you know, I competed in Halo 2 and Halo 3, and I just played with my friends the entire time. And I did that for like 4 years before I started like finally playing with like other people. But at that point, it was too late. I'd been playing with the same people for so long that like there was no chance for me to make a name for myself or anything like that, you know. I was just the guy that people saw in solo playing with the same people, or like in matchmaking all the time, rather than the guy that was actually like making moves, trying to be, the best player type of thing. So it's you just got to know what you want and go out and get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely showed success in the Splatoon community. Like, as what Prodigy just said, like, even supporting them is like when Kiver left Cream Fresh, they all supported him, like, to join STDX. Like, they were all like, yeah, we understand completely, do what you got to do. And look where Kiver is now. He's obviously a great player. He's way more known for it as well. He's winning. And, just do what you got to do.
So we'll get into 2 more questions here. One might be quick because I don't think any of us pay attention to it. Kbot asks, have any of you paid attention to the Splat Japan League? How do you think KP and FT Win will stack up with potential Libilant, Calamari, GG Boys, Enforce, and Meteor?
Yeah. I can't really comment on that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of Splat Japan League. I'm sorry.
I do watch it whenever I can. It's pretty early in the morning, but I'll watch whenever I can. I think that KP and FT Win definitely do stand a chance. They'll probably lose, but it's like kind of similar to Backwoods at E3. They'll put up a fight. If they won, I wouldn't be the most surprised in the world, I guess.
Who? Sorry?
If FT Win or KP like win a set or two, I wouldn't be the most surprised in the world.
Okay. I thought you meant win the whole thing.
I mean, even then, I think it's a top team thing, so I don't think there's like too many teams in general. So maybe 1 or 2 sets is all you need.
Yeah.
I think it's already been determined what 2 teams in the Japan League are in. At least I think I saw that on Twitter today. I think it's actually no, I don't remember off the top of my head which teams there are. Never mind. But based off of like win-loss record or something like that, it's already been determined what 2 teams it's going to be.
Okay.
I think I can never pronounce his name, but like I don't even Gabumi Mumi. I don't even.
Gamba Wumi.
Yeah. Oh, it's a her. Okay, my apologies.
Wow.
My apologies. I follow. They're a great person to follow on Twitter if you ever want to keep track of all this stuff. I don't really watch the games that much because it's just a timing thing. I'm way too busy, unfortunately. But I always. She does an amazing job at compiling what people played, what weapon on what map, and like your gear and everything like that. It is an amazing resource. Highly recommend using that.
Okay. Last question. This is kind of by Shaq and Kyo, so team of FT Win. They both ask similar questions. Shaq says it in more of a aggressive way, I guess. I'll try to interpret how he says it. Top players lead Slack? Yes or no? And Kyo says it.
What?
Need Slack? Do top players need Slack? Yes or no? And then Kyo says, how do you feel about the treatment of top players by the community and vice versa? You can clearly see who's the more mature one in this situation.
Oh, jeez.
I think he actually reversed it. No? Oh, no, it was Shaq who said that. Yeah, right.
Yeah, Shaq literally just wrote in top. He does this every time. He just writes questions as if he's, like, belching them. Anyways, so, do top players need Slack?
I like this question, but I'll let someone else go first.
Okay, I guess I'll start it off. Sure, why not? Yes. So there was, we kind of brought this up a little bit before, but never to this extent, was, I think we've done a lot of accommodations to, smaller teams at the very beginning of the game to try and appeal, and we kind of left out the top players for a while. If that's a good way to describe it. Like, Young Ink was around, SQSS is considered a bigger tournament, but it really does cater to like more casual teams, I find. BNS is a weekly that does cater to whoever too, but like there's never been like big events to highlight these teams. And on all the events, always during the group stages, we stream the lower level teams. Then the last event, we stream the higher level teams. And it's like they never really get their full time to shine. And we haven't really been creating events around them. And if you watch other esports in general, like everything is catered around the top players and their skill. And I feel like our community is so, as of this moment, very focused on the opposite effect, that it's like all they do is scrim now. So when they scrim, they talk about their frustrations. Yes. So 2 things. I think one, yes, I think organizations should now do a better job of catering to a lot of the higher end players. And I think they should get more recognition. But at the same time, I don't think this is for all players. I think there's like one person who just, maybe his persona is warping the minds of other people. Like, I think people see one top player and they're like, this is everyone. Everyone's like this. And it's like, no, it just happens to be one of the most popular people who is like this. And I think there's a way to tone it down on Twitter and just being a little more toned down. Like, to be fair, I like the personality. To me, I think that's a huge selling point of it. Like, if I'm going to be honest, we all know we're talking about Fuzzy, by the way. Just saying.
Well, you weren't talking about me.
Shut up, Walkman. So I think that Fuzzy is a great player to have within a community. Like, he's like I play to win. It's all about skill. It's all about how good I play. The game is everything to me, and if you're not on board, then you're not with me, kind of thing. Like, it's you're in or you're out. There's no in between. And I think that's a good personality to have, having different types of people. Not everyone being like, everything's great, everything's the best, is like a terrible way to do things. Like, you need people like that. At the same time, though, there's like a way where you stop detracting from your fan base and still kind of have that like dickish personality. It's a good thing, by the way. I'm saying this in a good way. Is like, just stop ranting about solo queue, I guess, because you're actively deterring from people who are watching you, because they're playing against you and you're calling them terrible and they won't amount to anything in life, kind of thing. And you're like,
he got 200 plus viewers.
Actually. I was gonna say the same thing. People cry about this, but they'll go and watch completely when you rage in solo queue.
They watch it. They love it. It feeds them.
That was the most I've seen Fuzzy get viewers in like maybe
200 plus
2 months or so.
I mean, sure, like, it does attract a lot of casual people, but I'm saying is, like, you might be detracting from a lot of your core in the long run. I'm saying that there's just a way to do it. Like, you can still be that aggressive type of person, but there's a way that you can maybe temperament it to not be as directly insulting to people at the same time. That's all. I'm not telling him to change his personality or, like, be like this super nice dude. Which he is, but in person he's great. Like, I love talking to Fuzzy when we met him. But
I mean, with players, no matter what it is, like, even with a player like Fuzzy, you're always going to get what you get from somebody. And I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, no matter who you are as a top player, you're always going to get scrutiny. Like, every top player, no matter who you are, if you win, people want you to lose. Like, even if Fuzzy wasn't doing what he was doing, they probably still want him to lose. Like, if Fuzzy never tweeted anything that he was tweeting, winning with STDX, they still probably would want him to lose.
I mean, and that's fair. And I'm not trying to say that. Like, the whole idea is that people rooting for him to lose is a benefit to his character, in a way.
Yeah.
Like, that adds to the whole thing. People like watching Fuzzy play because they want to watch him lose, or people like watching him play because they want him to be the best.
I just had a very, very random analogy pop into my mind. When Miley Cyrus started getting really big and started growing out of her Disney thing and did like the Wrecking Ball videos and stuff like that, right? People were blowing up like, oh my God, how could she do such lewd, awful things? Like, oh, what is she doing? And she skyrocketed. Her fame went off the charts, right? Like, that's my wife laughing.
Yeah, I
know. But like, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing.
Or it's like Britney when she released Toxic. We can keep going with these analogies, Prodigy.
Wow, you're just showing your age at this point, man. It's all good.
Anyways, all I'm trying to say is that I think that Fuzzy is a great personality to have in the community, and I think that you want people like that, along with other people, like maybe someone who's just incredibly positive, to be more aware. Like, Shaq is great because Shaq is so self-deprecating on Twitter. It's awesome. He embraced the meme that he thinks he's bad. Like, I don't know. I think we do have some personalities, and I think exposing them a little bit more is probably a good idea. Like, instead of everyone talking about Fuzzy all the time because he's the most popular, maybe try and get someone else to that level as well so that you have this contrast.
What do you mean?
Like, I think Fuzzy's so big that everyone's portraying. Yeah, dude. You need anti-Fuzzy.
Is, like, there's so many people that'll try to spread this positivity, and then they never.
You already have.
No. Hold on. I'm not trying to say someone who's like, let's spread positivity and happy sunshine, but someone who's just like the antithesis to Fuzzy. Fuzzy's like, I am the best. I'm going to be on the best team, and my team's going to carry me. Someone who's like, maybe like, I'm really focused on team coordination and working as a team or something of that nature and still having their own personality. Maybe someone being really funny. I don't know, man. There's a bunch of people in the community. Like, you talk to a bunch of people that we know and we all like certain people.
I think the closest thing you have, and this is just me knowing him personally, is Zero. And that's really it.
What?
That Zero.
I don't know him like I can't comment.
Zero. I mean, he had the whole thing of he was trying to be like #1 Tenatech NA.
People gave him crap for.
People gave him crap for it, but it probably is Zero. And I mean, on top of that, if you actually knew about it, he did win with KP. Was it KP? I might be wrong.
Yeah.
He did win with KP. So there you go. Maybe pay attention to him more.
And Zero at Long Island Splats and Beacon, it was like super nice, super outgoing. Like when we played him, it was like, oh my god, like okay, this was actually kind of insulting at first, but like when we played him, we played him at Beacon. Deep Blues played him at Beacon, and afterwards, just like, oh my god, like I can't believe, like I didn't think we would actually like they beat us. And it was like, I can't believe like we would actually ever win. Like, oh my god, I'm so like astounded. He's like handshaking us, like basically saying like, oh, I never dreamed of beating you, but I just did. As he's like handshaking us. And like obviously he didn't mean it that way. He was just super excited, and we ended up getting the last lap because we eliminated him from the tournament. But it's like that's that personality. That's like that personality, right? Like
yeah, no, I was being serious with it.
He's cocky, but nice cocky. Like
yeah, no,
he's
like the opposite of it.
Feeling I got when we lost to Dreas at Long Island Splat 1. He was like, "Oh my god, you guys are so amazing." I'm like, I
don't want to hear from you. Get out of here.
But yeah, I think that's all we need. Is that I think people just associate top player with either dude or Fuzzy, and like no one else. So they're all like top player privilege and all this stuff, and it's like it's 2 people out of like maybe 60 players. Like chill out. Like there are more people, and everyone just kind of associates directly with like Fuzzy or someone. So in a way, I would say like don't blame Fuzzy so much. I would say try and get someone else to that level as well, so that he can be the counter to Fuzzy's shit talking. And that way you have a storyline, you know what I mean? You have someone else who can kind of rival him on what you're saying. The cocky, nice guy. That's a good one to go for. I'm not saying you should warp your personality to be that person. I'm saying, like, just inherently be who you are, and that's it. Fuzzy's popular because he is who he is. Like, that is who he is, you know? Anyways, I'll let you guys talk about it. I've said my piece.
I guess I had this point and I'm forgetting it right now, but like give me 1 second and I'm going to figure it out. At least I don't know. I think from that is like people need to stop caring so much about like I guess Fuzzy shit talk to you about solo queue. Like who cares? Like honestly, like it's not the biggest deal in the world. Like maybe that hurts your feelings. All right, but continue playing. Who cares? Prove them wrong. Do something like that. Like I don't understand why people will take it so to heart that somebody said you're bad at solo queue or talked about your build or something like that. You know, it's like, come on, like it's not the biggest deal in the world. And then I guarantee you, a bunch of the people that try to do this, like calling Fuzzy out or something, they do the same thing when they're not on stream too. They probably yell at their teammates on solo queue as well. Like.
Some of them do it on stream. Nobody is watching.
Ooh, that's a nice call out right there. I like that one. But yeah, I don't know. People just have to, stop taking things so much to heart. And then, like, honestly, I like when Fuzzy did get those 200 viewers, like Kendall was saying, it was like there were so many people on Twitter, like, top player have to stop doing this, that. Like, honestly, it wouldn't have been such a big deal if you didn't tweet about it. Like. Come on, like, just ignore it. Like, who cares? and then like just go on with your life, because the fact that people, I guess, care so much just shows a lot about their life rather than the other way around.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go on my rant because I've been.
Go ahead. Go ahead, man.
I'm sure.
Wait, before I preface this for you, because I know you're gonna go for a while, I do want to say, Prodigy, I know you have thoughts about this, and I know why. Because ever since Eirik posted that tweet about how prize pools aren't fundamental to competitive Splatoon being popular, I know you've had thoughts about this. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
I want to say that though. While we're talking about all this controversial stuff, our viewers shot up, so Prodigy, go for as long as you want.
All right, here we go. Here we go. All right. First point. What is the difference between Putz and Fuzzy? Putz literally shits on people in his stream. Literally goes out of his way to
I'm going to tell you what the difference is.
I can tell you what the difference is.
Tempo and go offense.
I'm going to tell you what the difference is. Fuzzy's on STDX. Fuzzy was on Team Olive.
You're missing one major component here.
Okay.
Sorry, Putz. I love you. Fuzzy's good.
I mean, I wasn't going to that level, but like the point still stands. Like people specifically want to take out my wife. My wife. Okay.
This is the best. The best part about this stream is your wife laughing every time you say something.
I just want to say. So people specifically mention Fuzzy by name, right? Fuzzy. Putz does the exact same thing. How come we're not mentioning Putz by name, right? Like he does it live on his stream. Fuzzy just does it on Twitter, right? Like there's different medias, and I get it. Like that might be a character that Putz does on or something like that. I don't watch Putch's stream, but I'm not saying he should get banned for it. I don't think that he should stop doing what he's doing. No, like people enjoy watching it.
He gets like 100 viewers now.
Yeah, he's successful at doing what he's doing by Splatoon standards, right? Like,
yes.
But we don't like. How come no one's publicly like saying like, oh, how come Putz? Like people don't get upset about Putz?
I think because people see it as a joke, they're in on it.
Yes. Yeah, they're in on the joke that haha he's secretly bad. Ha 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 ha. Like that's what I get from it. And like but still like he's just like low key shitting on players saying like like we've all seen the clips where he's like smacking his desk and he's DCing from games because he's not going to switch around and stuff like that. Like but no one, and he's not doing it about himself. No, it's only about other people he does that about, right? So like okay. So that's his point number one. That is just point number one. All right. Point number two. This is my series of tweets. This is kind of what Spoon mentioned on. My series of tweets were influenced by Eric's, but not a direct response because I have seen this from other places, both on Discord and Twitter and streams and stuff like that. There is no end game for Splatoon at the moment, right? Ha ha ha! Yes.
Sorry, it was too good.
Yes. What do I mean by that? Okay. So let's say you are a college student and you're in your first or second year of college and it's really important that you start getting good grades and you set up your career in life and everything like that, whatever that may be. But on the side, you're dedicating, 20 hours a week, 30 hours a week, however that may be, to getting good at this game because it's a passion of yours and you really want to do it and you're going, and you win. And excluding Inkstorm Cup this past weekend, what do you get out of it? Oh, hey, you won our weekly. Here's a Twitter shout out. Congratulations. That doesn't do anything. Like
Except
that helps
sign
build,
up for BNS where there's prize pools.
That if you get donations. The times that Deep Blues has won it, $100. The times that Deep Blues hasn't done it, like $500.
Listen, it's not my fault that you don't sign up every week, Prodigy.
I'm not saying it's your fault.
Stop putting the prize pool on damn Clan Blitz.
We don't dictate that. People give it to Clan Blitz. Yes, what do you want from me?
I am not blaming you, and I'm not putting blame on any one thing. But again, like I'm sorry, there's some weeks that I can't participate or my team can't participate in it. Yet, that's and you're the exception, by the way. BNS is the exception.
Oh no, I'm aware. I'm not trying to say otherwise. I'm just trying to shill in the middle of your rant.
Yes. So, like again, like what's like ignoring Inkstorm Cup? Like what is there? There isn't anything. there isn't anything. Like, you can go to LANs if you can afford to go to LANs, but even then, it's like, basically because there's no incentive to do the grind to even get to the level of STDX and those other teams to win, to compete against them. Like there's literally nothing to it. Like STDX, part of the reason why STDX got so big so fast is literally because they took 4 people that were all really good on different teams and they put them together, and because no one else could reach their level, they just started winning everything right off the bat. Right? It wasn't because they individually they might have did some grinding on their individual teams and stuff like that, but they didn't ever super hardcore grind to be the number one in NA. They just were the number one in NA when they formed. They got lucky in that regard, right? Now we have a team that's up there, and there's literally no incentive for the teams down here to grind to get to that level. There is none at the moment from a tournament standpoint. And that's why we started doing things like GSM Elite, which brings me to point number 3. All right. Point number 3, invest into your own community, right? You guys want to sit there on Twitter mocking the top players for having their public server or their private servers and their private scrim servers. You want to talk about how the top players are so rude and they look down on everyone else. No, they just want to get better, right? And so why should we take the time to come out of our quote unquote private servers and teach you guys things when in response you turn around and make fun of or crap talk us or shit talk us, whatever. I'm trying to cut down on I'm getting a little heated, so I'm trying to limit my language a little bit. But why should we? That's counterproductive, honestly. And then also the GSM Elite thing, it's just okay, here's an opportunity. A low risk environment, $20 per team, which is, yes, I get that's high in terms of Splatoon standards, $20 per team, but you're investing back into the community, right? It's providing incentive to play against the best teams and to also get a chance to at least like we said, 50% of, if you make top 50%, you get your money back. If you make top 75%, you get half of your money back. If you get top 3, you're making money. It's an opportunity to grind it out, make money, keep playing against the best teams, stuff like that. Invest into your scene. No one wanted to do it. Yet at the same time, if top players are ruining the scene and stuff like that. It's no, you guys don't want to contribute. You guys don't want to put in the effort. No one wants to actually give it an incentive to be that level. Caveat to all this: casuals absolutely are important. I'm not saying the casuals should be ignored or anything like that. Casuals and incoming growth in terms of viewers and players and stuff like that, absolutely vital. An important thing that should be taken care of, nurtured, all that stuff. But if you don't show them a reason why all these players are taking the time and the effort to do what they're doing, then that's not going to go anywhere. It's people are going to come and be like, oh, this is cool. I met some people. All right, next game's out. See you later. There's no reason to stay. Yet the people that truly love the game, that are truly staying, the top players that are grinding it out, they're not getting rewarded. Simple as that.
Yep, I actually agree. Like I said, that's why we're trying to find ways to now start. Like you said, we've done our due diligence on the casual side, and what we're starting, you'll see in the future. We're doing more to appeal even more to casual. Website, the BNS Monthly Extravaganza, the free agent tournament that we've launched. You know what I mean? We've done that due diligence. So you're going to start seeing the hardcore stuff now focused out of us. So Prodigy, you'll be very happy.
Also, just to point out how true this is, I'm a member of Deep Blues. Dude's in here all of a sudden. Soren's in here all of a sudden. Hexen's in here all of a sudden. Shaq and Keo tweeted the question. How that all these are players in the top 8 of the last Inkstorm Cup.
Well,
right?
Top 4.
Well, okay, excluding Deep Blues, but fine, I see how it is.
Oh, I didn't realize you said yourself.
Don't get me wrong. If there was, I'm kind of an exception to this because I'm kind of older than the rest. I'm turning 27 next month. I'm in a PhD program. Yeah, I still try to find some time to stream. I still find some time to do VOD reviews on my stream. I do other stuff like my Science Saturday shows that I try to do that I haven't been able to do in months because of how busy I've been, because of how much I'm committing towards my team when I'm not at my job.
The Saturday tournament sometimes.
Yes, I run tournaments. I organize LANs. I contribute. What am I getting out of it other than a crap ton of work? My stream is growing, which is good. I would hope my stream is growing. Otherwise, I'm doing awful at my career or my branding. Don't get me wrong, but realistically, outside of that growth, I'm really not. There isn't much for me to even try to achieve, right? So like dudes always said like content, like top players need to make more content. Like I completely agree. I agree with that. But there also needs to be an incentive for them to make that content, and there isn't. There isn't.
Yeah. It's a lot of work. That's all I'm going to say. It's a lot of work to create content. People don't realize how much work it actually is. It's a second job, man. So people are just like, just make new content. It's like, to make it good, no one wants just content. People want good content. If you craft content, no one cares about it. So I think that's important. But yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. And I think you're going to start seeing a shift, at least from us, more of a shift into some higher end competitive tournaments. So, yep.
Yeah, I agree with like what everyone was saying. We're doing things for the casuals, the newer people who want to get into this. We haven't been really doing too much for the top people. And to Shaq and Keel's, I guess, question or point, it was kind of, they were kind of saying their opinion in the question. So I 100% agree with them, is that like, top players have been doing this for a long time for nothing. Just think about like Keo. He just said this. He's been a top player pretty much all of Splatoon 2. This was the first major he's ever won, Splatoon 1 or Splatoon 2. And he's been at this for a while. Shaq, pretty much the same thing. He placed high in Beacon, but other than that, what was Shaq really able to accomplish too much? Just a couple squid boards.
Well, I'm saying they picked a good damn time to win a tournament.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying he's been doing this for so long. They've been grinding for so long for nothing. And they're still getting slack about like the fact that they're grinding in solitude. That's what people are crying about, that they're practicing for no incentive just for them to get better. And then, people want to cry about they're not doing their due diligence to the community. And I don't know. And most of it is coming from these, I guess, middle tier teams that honestly, they have the same tools Shaq and Keo did, who were on middle tier teams in Splatoon 1. Shaq was actually on a bad team in Splatoon 1 early. And look where he is now. I've known Shaq since pretty much the beginning of Splatoon. And this guy has grinded his ass off just to get here. And like, come on. He had the same steps that you have to get there. Stop crying about it. Stop doing this. And then we have the lower tier tournaments that we're obviously catering to them. Maybe people don't want to say it, but we should focus on the top people, and the lower people and the middle people is all they do is complain. So why do we care?
And to kind of round this out in a full circle, relating, as Spoon kind of said before you go on your rant, relating to IRX Street, the easiest way to provide incentive is money. It's just how the world works. It's money, right? Like even sponsors, right? If you want to attract sponsors, you need growth in terms of branding. You want to market personalities. You want to see them also performing well, ideally at tournaments. There's again no incentive to even do that if you're to make all these things happen, to even get a sponsorship, if there's not something to attain during that grind, right? And again, money helps address that. Is the money the end all be all? Absolutely not. There's a lot more to it. Like, this trip to Japan is awesome, an amazing opportunity, but that trip to Japan costs money, right? Like, even if something is just like $100 a week or something like that, that's still like gives something better than nothing. But and the easiest way to do it is investing back in your scene. Don't just do like donations for the BNS. Like, don't. I'm not saying stop doing that, but like do more than that. Like, another good example is the Saturday tournaments, the weeklies that Jordan was running, Swift's second Saturday. He was consistently, I think, getting around like 16 plus teams. He tried one tournament, one of them, he switched to making it free to $5 per team, and 3 teams signed up. It's like, okay, yet you want us to come out of our private servers and help you guys for what exactly? I'm sorry, I got my own goals. It's just a fact of life. I have my own growth to attain.
Yep, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to be selfish in a way. I mean, like, this can actually work in organization as well, right? Like, unless I actively talk about how hard I'm working, no one will comment about how hard we're working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
realizes the amount of work we actually put in unless we constantly post on Twitter. Oh my God, I work so hard today. And I'm not one of those people. I'm not ever going to do that. But you clearly see other people doing it. Like, we love you, we support you. But, like, people don't actively go out of their way. Well, actually, we've gotten a couple of people recently, which is really nice, by the way. So, but yeah, like, it's the same thing, right? Like, in the end, what it comes down to is we don't really do it for positive reinforcement, because I'm going to be completely honest, we really don't get a lot of positive reinforcement. Most of the stuff, the vocal minority speaks. Like, we understand that most people are happy with it. Like, but that's like the realization you have to go into, even as a top player or as an organization, is like, the majority of people are probably happy if they're not saying anything, and the vocal minority of negativity is very much aware. So you kind of just have to let that go. And I think that's just what it is. So you have to kind of do it for yourself in a way if you want to be happy. You have to be happy with your own work. Same thing as being a top player. You have to be happy with your performance in the end. And you can't get approval from other people being like, yeah, I'm helping them out, so that makes me great, you know? Like, you have to do it because you want to do it. Okay. Does anyone want to add anything? We're going to close out the show.
Project had too much heat on it.
It was great. I don't mind.
I'm always red. This is lighting. It's awful.
I'm happy. This has been my favorite.
Yeah, no.
I asked Spoon before this started, can I go off? And he let me, so.
I told you guys I don't mind. Like, I don't want you guys to be tame on here. Okay, anyways.
That was heat. Yo, honestly, take it, clip it, seriously.
Okay, so let's close out the show. So, Kendall, what do you want to shout out? What do you want to talk about before we end?
Long Island Summer Splat. Go to Long Island Summer Splat. I mean, what else are you going to do for the rest of your summer? Might as well go. Go to New York. Best place ever. Best bagels, pizza. Don't talk about it. Leave it alone. Your pizza and your bagels are trash. Montreal, trash. Come to New York.
Oh, we're not going to bring this up again. Montreal bagels are just as good,
ignore
if not better.
The man that's a spoon. Ignore him, please. Thank you.
Okay, you're going to... Okay, hold on. You are going to drive down to Montreal, and I'm going to film you in front of a bagel shop, and I'm going to shove a bagel so far into your mouth.
This doesn't sound right.
You can't say anything other than, delicious. Gonna put some cream cheese on it. It's gonna be beautiful. I'll go to New York one day, too, and I'll eat a New York bagel and go, bleh, what is this garbage?
Please, no. I saw DJ said a fanfic. No, stop. Also, so yeah, Long Island Summer Splat, please come out. It's going to be a great time. The guys at Aeon have done an amazing job at accommodating every single time.
Don't eat the bagels.
With making sure that to raise the levels every single time. As you saw with the analyst desk, they are really working to make changes. So make sure you come. It's going to be an amazing time. Also, on top of that, follow me on Twitch, Negus _. And that's it for me.
Walkman?
I was going to use my shout out on Shaq to see if he still needed money first thing, but he says he's good. I guess he says that maybe Ice might need some type of donation for his family. He's a little young when he gets, because he did win that trip to Japan. So be on the lookout. I guess they'll all retweet it. Shaq, Keo, all of them, if they do maybe need a GoFundMe for Ice to just help his family or something like that. So be on the lookout for that. And then I guess, yeah, like Kendall said, Long Island Summer Splat's going to be amazing. I like Beacon was pretty good. But honestly, this is, I think, going to be on another level than before. So definitely keep an eye out for that. The tweet that I guess Prodigy sent out that we've got Ghost and STDX probably going to be the first clash on LAN right there. Maybe some other amazing teams, we can only hope. Definitely sign up if you can. So do that. And also check out the online merch shop for that. I don't know the exact link. But definitely check that out. Your any purchases you make on there, by the way, the tank top is sick. I'm going to try to get myself one of those. So definitely, if you can, buy that. And I believe at least half of the money will go towards funding Nine. So to get to there to commentate. And we all love Nine commentating. So definitely get him out there.
And get him out there in that nice production setup. That's beautiful.
Yep.
It's beautiful, man. It's
Yeah,
so
it would
sexy. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm so jealous, man. I keep seeing that thing and I'm like, man, it's so nice. Okay, Prodigy, give your shout outs. Promote yourself.
All right. So you can follow more of my rants at on Twitch at Dr. Prodigy. I'm in the chat. You should see my name. It's the abbreviated doctor. Unfortunately, the abbreviated doctor was taken on Twitter. So as it says under my name, I think over here, at Dr. Prodigy, all spelled out like that on Twitter. As these other two guys said, Long Island Summer Splat for sure. August 24th through the 26th. That is actually a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Splatoon 2, the tournament will only be on Saturday and Sunday. Friday is going to be more of a social day. We're going to have Mario Tennis Aces. We're going to have free play. There's going to be a Smash 4 tournament. We've got a compendium going, as Walkie kind of mentioned. Half of all profits that we make from our merchandise store will be going towards the compendium, which one is to help get Nine out here. We're already about halfway towards that through some donations and through merchandise purchases. Two, we're going to do a barbecue and s'mores during Friday. So it'll go towards getting meats and hamburgers, hot dogs, some veggie options, all that stuff. That will be going towards that. The s'mores, obviously. That's all going to be Friday night, a social day. As I mentioned, we're trying to make this like the end of summer bash. Like this is the end of summer. Come out and celebrate. The island is perfect for it. So please check it out. It's going to be a blast.
Mm-hmm. And also, if you think top players are scumbags, go meet them at LISS and realize that they're not, because all of them will be there.
We're going to have, as Walkie mentioned, we're going to have STDX, minus Hexen, apparently, but GG's. We're going to have Ghost has already signed up. Deep Blues is going to be there. Like, there are potentially more. If people want to get in contact with me and want some questions, contact me. We have a server, Discord server, which you can find at discord.io/GSM. So, yeah, like, if you have any questions, hit me up.
Also, two of your favorite streamers, Milana and Filet-O-Fish in the morning. So you should definitely come out if you want to meet them.
They're signed up.
You should. Honestly.
Maybe the super team will get a sponsor and come. Hint, please.
Get a sponsor.
Okay, time for me. Guys, sign up for Extravaganza. Free agent tournament. It's closing, I believe, as of today. The tournament will be on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. You can sign up with your team. We organize teams for you so that you can potentially find a team that you work with or a player that you work with. This is a way to try and get free agents sorted into a potential team. So
apparently
sign
we hit
up
the
for
cap,
that.
Blake,
Well, yeah, we already hit the cap. So too bad you can't sign up anymore. Oh well, we're too popular.
All right.
Wait,
here we go.
How many people
Where's
do
the
you have?
emotes? Where's the emotes?
I believe it was a 32 team cap, so whatever that is times 4.
Yeah. So I'm sorry to hear that. We're just too popular. It's not going to be streamed this time around, so tune into it. The next one is going to be streamed, though. We just want to make sure it all runs well. Also, tune into BNS this week. It's going to be a good show, as usual. Good time, as always. Also, Beyond the Ink is going to be coming back within the next week or two officially, so look out for that. The interview series with Jordan. And also, cross-examination is going to be happening really soon. I'm still not sure exactly what the first episode is going to be about, but you'll see
do it on Inkstorm if we're allowed to use the footage.
Yeah, or I might do it on BNS finals or stuff like that. We'll see. Yep, so we're going to be doing that and look forward to other things that we may announce in the future. So, yeah. Also, I do want to point out one thing. Sorry. People have, every time someone plays a Tenta Sorella on any match, they ping me and they're like, look, it's a good weapon. You guys are showing me the most niche kills ever. And you're trying to tell me that it's a good weapon. You literally showed someone in a baller getting stuck behind a wall because he made a bad positioning move, then pops a wall, and then the guy dies. That's not good. That's just the baller being an idiot and the guy making a lucky play with a stupid weapon.
Wasn't that Watson?
And then the one clips me with one thing. He's like, oh yeah, you calling this a bad weapon? And it's a guy splash downing onto a wall. You can pick a wall weapon and do the same thing. It doesn't need to be a tent umbrella. It's still a garbage weapon. You guys are all ridiculous. Like, are you kidding me? Show me someone tearing it up. Show me a 5-minute game of a guy wrecking it in a competitive match.
I think Hexen played it in Inkstorm. I'm not sure. I'll look for the
send me that footage and show me he did well with it. Did he lose? That's probably why.
Damn.
Anyways, that's it. Have a great day, guys. See
How
you
many
guys
people were
later.
messaging you?